We have in our midst Olori Barrister Aderonke Adebili Ogunsi. Ẹja sọ pé kábíyèsí o. Also, àwọn bàbá wa kábíyèsí tí wọ́n ti wà ń bí kí bàbá tó bá wa pàdé nínú gbàgede yìí. Bàbá wa kábíyèsí eléjèsí ẹja sọ pé kábíyèsí o. Bákan náà bàbá wa kábíyèsí agbólú ti àgbájé ẹja sọ pé kábíyèsí o. Ààrẹ gbogbo àwọn iléèwé aládàáni nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Amòfin Kazeem Ọ̀pẹ́jì ẹ bá pàtó fún wọn dáadáa. Bákan náà alága gbogbo àwọn iléèwé aládàáni ní Ifẹ̀ East. Ọmọọba Joshua Olú Adéníyì ẹ bá pàtó fáwọn náà dáadáa. Kábíyèsí bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni Adéyẹyè Babátúndé Àkàndé Ògúnwùsì Ọ̀jájá kejì Ọlọ́fin àrólé Ọlọ́fin àdìmúlà bàbá ọmọ yìí tó mú ìdùnnú dé bá gbogbo wa.
A couple of weeks ago, I was in Abuja, and as we were about to get on the plane, I saw the Olori, and we had a conversation. Prior to that conversation, I've been in Abuja for the sports festival, for the opening ceremony, and I met my king, the king of Agoya, and I had a conversation with him, and he called me and said, "My son, how are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing very well." And he asked about my parents. So every time I see him, he always encourages me, and he talks about my parents. So this was just a few days before I traveled to Abuja. So when I was in Abuja, and I ran into her, I did not know that she was the daughter of the king. And I didn't even know that we're from the same place. You know, we are both more and I really knew that it wasn't a coincidence, that it was a meeting of destiny. And I invited her later that day, and I would love to have a proper conversation with her. And she honored my invite, and she came. And we had a conversation, and the first thing I immediately realized was that she also carried a burden in her heart. And it's the same burden that I know very well, but it's so hard to explain to other people. And the burden wasn't just a selfish one, it was a burden for children. And it is a burden that I've carried for the last 10 years of my life as well. I've done many things in this life, and I'm known for many things. I'm known for being the world record holder. I'm known for doing all of these incredible things. But the one thing which is most important to me that I always want to be remembered for, I want to be known as a person who helped children believe that they can do great things from a small place. And that is a burden that I carry very deeply in my heart. And it is what informs the essence of the work that I do and who I am still becoming on this journey. And we had that conversation on that day, and I immediately knew that this was a meeting of destiny. So we continued to converse, and we had an understanding to put an event together today, on this day, to bring all these young children here, to share this moment with them, and to encourage every single one of them that their dreams are also valid. I myself grew up in the slums of Ikorodu, in a very small place called the Salodo, where nothing happens. You know, my parents were not educated. They tried their best to give us an education, but at some point, we had to even drop out of school because there was no money. And one day, after some years of staying at home and not going to school, I walked into a barber shop. And I saw this thing for the first time. And I walked up to the chessboard and I asked the barber, I said, "Uncle, what is this?" And he said, "What does it look like?" I said, "I don't know." Then he held up this one. He said, "What does it look like?" I looked at it and I said, "Kete." And he laughed. And he told me that this is a game that will help me to understand my own mind. And ever since then, I became very curious. And I said that I was going to learn it. And I kept going back there, and I kept going back there, and I kept going back there. And one day, I figured it out. Then I went home, and I got clay, and I got a cardboard, and I made my own chessboard. And I taught my brother how to play, and I would always beat him every day. So when I go back to the barber shop, I would watch them play. Whatever I learned, I would come and use it to beat my brother. So I thought I was already a good master at the game. But one day, the barber asked me and said, "Come and play with us." And I was very excited to show them everything I learned. And the moment I got there, I lost the 2 moves. Then it became my mission to figure out how to stop that attack in 2 moves so I don't lose. But what chess was teaching me at the time wasn't just about winning or losing. It was teaching me to take responsibility for my own actions. And more importantly, to take control of my own life, that I can affect the outcomes of my life. And if I do the right things, this is what will happen. If I do the wrong things, I will lose the game. And chess gave me a way to find my place in the world. And many years down the line, you know, chess has taken me to a lot of places. It has made all my dreams come true. I've traveled to so many countries. I've been with world leaders. I've spoken, given the keynote speech at the United Nations. You know, I've taken a lot of children to America as well. Children from the slums who people are giving up on. I've shared my dream and passion of the world. You know, and just because I can play chess. And it's just something as simple as that. But the most remarkable thing about my journey isn't just my ability to play chess. But because I've been able to use this talent of mine and use it as a gift back to other children. And by doing that, I've been able to be the best part of myself in the world. And this is what I charge all of us to do. That we are gathered here today, not because of ourselves, not for any selfish reasons, but to really form the vision of the Hope and Life Initiative. That every child deserves an opportunity to find their place in the world as well. Chess is just an expression of it. Education is another vehicle that will get to that. But whatever we do, whoever we become, that we're able to use our talents and our gifts, our influence, our wealth, our resource, as an opportunity to serve other people. Because that is the greatest thing you can ever do with your life. That you have something and you're willing to give it back to the world. And you're willing to share it. And I was just giving an example, an analogy to the Olori earlier about the journey of the coin. Now, there are two very interesting dynamics in this game of chess. The first one is the journey of the pawn. Now, I'll tell you something. The pawn is the most insignificant piece on the chessboard. It has a value of just 1 point. But this pawn, as small as it is, if it's able to match to the end of the board, it can become a coin, the most powerful piece on the chessboard. And that tells you that the journey of every pawn begins in a very small way, but then it can become a very great person in life. The second dynamic that I talked about is the queen and the king. Now, the queen in the game of chess is very powerful, just like our women. Our women have a lot of power, and they know it, you know, and the power that they have is unbridled. Just like the queen at the game of chess. The queen moves in every direction. She is powerful beyond measure. The other pieces, they cannot stop her. They will fall flat in the face of the queen's real strength. And I ascribe the strength of this queen, you know, to our esteemed Regal Majesty Olori, Dr. Timitope, that she has a lot of power, but not because of her strength, but because of the kindness of her heart. And this is why I'm here today, not for any other reason, but to also be a part of what the Olori and the King are trying to do for humanity, for the world. That she can use her own strength, just like a queen on the chessboard, to ensure that other people can find a sense of belonging. And that is something that I truly admire. And the king is the most important piece of the game of chess. In fact, the king cannot be captured. It is an abomination for the king to be lost in battle. The king has to be protected by all means, by his people, and even by himself, because the king is the one leading the army to battle. But the king must not be lost, because the moment that happens, the game is over. So for the game of chess, for you to succeed at it, you must keep your king safe. Before you can begin to have any strategy, you must ensure that your number one strategy is to ensure the safety of the king first. And the moment you are able to successfully do that, then you can venture out and you can try to win, and you can try to make your tactics, your strategy, make your plays. But without the king, the game is over. And which is why we're all gathered here today, because of our esteemed king. And I want to say thank you so much, Kabiyesi, for the honor that you have given all of us. And to the entire Chess Islam team as well, Zlata, Peter, Demola, Taiwo, Esther, please let's give them a round of applause as well. And to the team, you know, the whole Alive initiative, thank you so much for making this successful. And I hope the children will take the experience of a lifetime away from this. And I hope it inspires them to believe in their own dreams as well. So thank you so much for having me here. This is my second time here. The first time was during the Royal African Awards in 2022. And I'm glad to be back home. Thank you so much.